Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the QLS channel. We are here for yet another match of the Toulouse Sevens, I should say, the last game of pool play, and it is going to be Fiji taking on France. It's going to be very exciting. See who does get themselves a win. Whoever wins this game will go on to face up against the USA in the quarterfinals. Whoever loses will go head-to-head up against Australia. But the other two quarterfinals have already been confirmed. Argentina, they will be taking on Ireland. Samoa, they will be playing England, and then New Zealand and South Africa, two big sides that are missing out on the quarterfinals for this year, or at least this week anyway. We might see them back for next week's one in London, but looking through at the Fijian lineup for this matchup, it is going to be Nothin Nalathangi. I always say his name wrong, so I do apologize for that, but we have got Betty Wagon in the chat. Also, Gareth is here. I hope you guys are all doing well. Then it is Tanaka Vata, who is there at number 5, Tavita Dalgunu, Wasia Nathunyo. Then it will be Rasaku there at number 11, Bukayaro and Naruvalo in the starting lineup for Fiji. Then for France, it is going to be Lagao, Mignet, then also Capella, Riva is there, Aragua, Sifu, Jordan Sifu, that is. He's a very dangerous individual. And then Marius Damon is the last name in that starting lineup. But do let me know your score predictions for this matchup, ladies and gentlemen. Who do you think will be able to get themselves the win? That's the thing. You want to win this game. But then do you really? Because you're either going to have to face up against Australia or you're going to have to face up against the USA. For me, the easier game of the two, you'd have to say, is USA. So you want to win this match is the goal of both of these sides. How's it, Patty? Says Gareth and Bulla Bulla. And they're from Zazi. I hope you are doing well, mate. Currently, Kenya versus Wales has taken place. It is 19 points to Kenya, 7 to Wales as it sits with just the 2 minutes left. Looking through at the benches, Vakuna Billy is there for South Africa, or sorry, not for South Africa, for Fiji, on an upset for South Africa and New Zealand. Exactly right. For both of those sides to miss out is huge. So I believe next South Africa get to play, I think it's Japan is their next matchup, which they will certainly, you would think, have a one-sided affair up against the Japanese and New Zealand. More than likely, I think they actually have to play off up against maybe Wales or someone along those lines might actually be their opposition for the next one. And what's the time there? Says Gareth. Currently, we are sitting 12:33 a.m. and Fiji are favourites, but it's that element of playing France on their home turf. I want to bet a penny on this game, says Sebastian. Exactly right. It is too tough to be able to predict exactly how this game is going to go. All we know is that the women's side of things, New Zealand will be playing Brazil in the first women's quarterfinal. Australia taking on the USA, which is going to be an interesting matchup to see. And then Canada versus Ireland and France versus the Fiji women's side. That will be the last matchup of the day for the women's, and that is going to be at 6:35 a.m. New Zealand time. My prediction, 26 to Fiji, 12 to France. Maybe Fiji win with a high score in there as well. Says Anna Cat, and it looks like maybe Wales are trying to fight their way back in a little bit more into this matchup up against the Kenyans. I believe actually whoever wins this game doesn't have to play New Zealand, I think, is the team that they will actually end up having to go head-to-head with, the loser of this one. So that's probably not what you want for your 9th place playoff, I think it will actually be, which is actually huge for New Zealand and South Africa. We may see New Zealand versus South Africa playing off for 9th place, which is crazy, but it is exciting. Anything can happen in the world of sevens, and we are certainly seeing just that. But this game only moments away. I was going through that bench of the Fijians, and it is Kunatane, also Saturanga, and my Samoa is the last name on the Fijian bench. We have got there Caroline. Hopefully I said that correctly, but welcome into the live stream. Hope you are doing well and hope you are excited for this matchup between Fiji and France. And it's hugely appreciated everyone tuning in. If you are new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Currently off the bench, it is going to be Mazzolini, Heigard, also Simon. Then it will be Grandidier and also Boucher is the last name on the French bench. And Anake, as said, Tosaviti Tosos, welcome in, mate. Hope you are enjoying the 7 so far. And Fiji, Samoa, Ireland, Argentina. For me, I think those... Oh, but then saying that, no, actually, I'm going to take that back. I was going to say those are my 4 front runners. But for me, Samoa have been looking absolutely outstanding throughout the 7 so far. And then Australia also looking pretty decent, although they did end up losing to the USA. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it goes. You can't count out the flying Fijians. That is one thing that you certainly cannot do, or else if you underestimate them, they will run over you and score about 30 points against you if you are not careful. But currently, we are just waiting for the game prior to the matchup between Fiji and France to end, and it is the game between Wales and Kenya, ranked 14th Wales, 10 for Kenya there, but they have got themselves one last attacking opportunity for Wales. I'm actually, you know what? I want Wales to win this because then we will get to see New Zealand versus Kenya, which is a matchup we hardly have ever seen in the World Sevens circuit. Oh, it's a knock-on. That's a shame. And that's going to be the end of the game. Right, I jinxed that one big time. So I think it is actually going to be Wales versus New Zealand now as the next game for those two sides. But nonetheless, Kenya picked themselves up the win. They'll be going on to face up against Scotland, I think it will be, which will actually be a very good game of rugby. Both of those sides hard-hitting in their own right. But for me, when we look through at key players for this matchup, 12 degrees, that sounds a little bit chilly. We are currently 8 degrees. So it's not exactly that nice, but I have got the fire slightly going, so it does bring a little bit more warmth in at the moment. But I'm going to say Rasaku's one to watch out for, and also Kanakawata as my other player for Fiji. And if I had to pick two French players, I would go with Paulin Riva and Jordan Sefo as the other man, who I think will be able to have quite the impact in this game, because France, they were almost able to put 50 points on their first opponents, which was absolutely insane for the way that they did start. And that was in a tough game that they did have up against, I believe it would have actually been up against Wales. They were able to do so. But Fiji versus France. Fiji are 6th, France are 7th. And now we are ready to go. That was actually a little bit longer than I did expect for the build-up of this match to be. We probably had about 7 minutes rather than the 2 that I was initially anticipating. But now the Fijians making their way out, being led by their captain, Davide Dalgunu. And it is going to be a pretty awesome game. Both of these sides, they have remained undefeated in this competition. In fact, if I look through, the only side that has finished undefeated is actually it's Samoa. So whoever wins this game will be the only other side that has not lost a game of the sevens as of yet. And go Fiji, go. There's Solomoni there. And it just makes my mouth water thinking about that game that we could have between Fiji and Samoa. And I believe both of them are actually on separate sides of the draw, which does mean it's beneficial. We may even get to see them go head-to-head in the final if it does work out that way. But currently now, Adam Leal will be in charge of this one. It's 29th match in charge of the series. And like they're saying, Pool B decided the winner, they will take on the USA. The loser, they will take on the Australians as well. So neither game's really too easy now that I think about it. But Sebastian, if you are still here, Samoa versus England, what are your thoughts on that matchup? Do let me know. And it was actually pretty close. England just sneaking by 4 extra points over Canada for the points differential. That's kicked off by Fiji, going high, and it's taken beautifully there. Believe it was Mothinanathi who was able to take it. That name's really the one that's stumping me at the moment, so I will try my best to get it right. But it is that number 3. Now, Talatolo does find that offload. Back across, hanging on to it. Quite nicely, Rasaku gets a couple extra meters. Now France trying to put the Fijians under pressure, but that ball bounces favorably. Now it's out to Dalgunu, and down the wing, it is going to be Mothinari who does get that one. Now, a good fan from Rasaku, luring in 3 of the French defenders. That was a knock-on by France, and the referee has not seen it. So due to that, Labelle is now going to be able to go with the ball on the outside. And now I believe it's going back. Forward pass is actually what they're calling that one, but that could have easily been a knock-on quite far back, and also Samoa by 12, I reckon. See Sebastian there as well. Yeah, it should be a very entertaining game. See which way it does go. And New Zealand have never, I think they said they've never missed out on making it to the quarterfinal, so that is certainly something that they will be disappointed with, the New Zealand side. And also, winner plays USA, a loser plays Australia. They have just popped up on the screen. The other 2 quarterfinal matchups, it is going to be Argentina versus Ireland and Samoa versus England in those 2 matches. So those are going to be exciting, and they will be taking place a little bit later on tonight. First of which of those games, it is going to be at 4:04 a.m., then 4:48 a.m., then 6:05 a.m., and then 7:03 a.m. there as well. Now it's going to be the back line. It's out into the hands of it was Nodowalo. Has to run backwards to be able to go forwards here by the looks of it. But now, looking out quite nice. It's going back actually for the penalty in favour of Fiji. And I've realised we've got a bit of a problem because either way, oh no, we might be all right with the 6:05 game if we start Leinster versus Munster a little bit later on. Actually, does it start at 6:35 or 6:15? Do let me know. And also we have got there and the chat side, Lossi is here. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well currently. It is going to be running straight sideways from Nodowalo. It's lurking just outside of the 22. Dalgunu ball on the outside, and Rasakui just steps on the inside and does score the first try of the match. And also we've got their Fiji maybe favourites, but the host can be a handful. So yes, Sammy Sosa exactly right. And Fiji now, in the form of Kimineli Rasaku, has been able to get that first try of the match, but just using that pure size and strength that Fiji have, always luring in two defenders, choosing the perfect time to be able to find that little flick pass. And also where's John? And then also nice try, says Anaket. But it was a nice wide pass out into the hands of Rasaku, and he was not going to be stopped as well. Quarter past 6 New Zealand time. Ew, that's not nice, because that means that would overlap with a possible Australia versus Fiji quarterfinal. Ugh. That is not fun. So I guess that almost means, oh, it's close. That one has missed out to the side. We may have to try and do a little bit of picking and choosing with what game we do, because I want to do Leinster versus Munster, but then also I don't want to miss quarterfinal matchups that are taking place. But the draw, unfortunately, is unfavourable for us in terms of the way that it is going to be sitting, but it's going to be up, gliding in the air. The French player unable to take it out on the wing. I believe that was the youngster in the form of Marius Damon, and now ball on the inside. Nicely done. Mothanathangi almost going. He goes all the way. Mothanathangi does manage to get the try on early morning for Donna and Dad. Then says Sebastian could be, although I don't think they know much about the URC. So we'll have to school them up pretty quickly for that one. And also yawns. Says Betty there, but it's nicely done. I said it so well before. Mothanathangi. My tongue doesn't like it. It doesn't quite go in the right spot. But that man, he knew how to step around all of the French defence. And it is a brilliant try for the Fijians. They get themselves another. And he slides in for the try. And also, it's Fiji at its very best. Exactly right. And any time that they are offloading, any time they play with that freedom, you know that Fiji are going to do well in a competition. And they are currently looking the goods. And this one, that one has gone over for the conversion. And now the score is going to be 12-0 in favour of Fiji with only 2.5 minutes left in the first half. Fiji, they have got themselves 9 points as we currently sit, which will put them top of the pool, and that would mean that they do get to take on the USA. Now getting ready to go. Going up high, and what goes up must go down, and it's only just gone the 10 metres for them, but it is going to be knocked back onto the side of Fiji now. And also we have got their Motanathangi. Okay, I will try my best. Motanathangi. I think I'm trying to oversound the letters, if that makes sense. And it's Sunday for you. It is indeed currently Sunday. That's France now. And they've got this ball linking up nicely. Now Riva, one more, and that will be the try for France. And they have been able to fire back in this game, and Mignot does manage to score it. Nicely done by France, being able to fire back as soon as they did need to. If they get themselves another try before the end of the first half, this could be a very close second. I see that there was a baby with earmuffs and no shirt in the crowd. That is unfortunate. But of course, the thing is, I was going to say it's unfortunate because it will get cold, but it won't get cold because it's currently 27 degrees there at the ground and the sun is blaring. So it will be a very tough bit of conditions for the afternoon fixtures that are coming up in the near future. But anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, when we are at the halftime break, I will put the link to the Kiwi Lad Sport. I do highly recommend you check out that channel. We have got plenty more videos coming up in there, and it is hugely appreciated, all the support you guys have been showing over on that channel. But I'm just going to have a quick look through at the URC in terms of those squads. So I have a feeling someone mentioned about how Leinster might have put out maybe a slightly second string team, although to be fair, it's still a pretty good side looking at those names. But now it is going to be in the hands of Fiji once again. Rasaku trying to quick step his way all around the French defence. Now, just a bit of a casual jog. Now, Kanakai Wata, he is now starting to sprint a little bit quicker. Jordan Sefo misses the tackle, finds the offload up. And Kanakai Wata, it's been looking pretty decent. And Mothanathangi, once again, now the offload for Fiji. That is another try. And Bukayaro this time is going to be going in for another one. And also we have got their sports channel in there. Submission. It is indeed that link, so be sure to check it out. I did see after the last live stream that we did, we went up about 6 subscribers over there, which is absolutely insane. And we are now on the road to 1,000. Little bit of a stare down between France and Fiji there. And I think Mignot was willing to have it go towards the halftime break. But now Filippo Bucayaro does get himself another try for the Fijians. And it's just 2-on-1, the offload, and then all of a sudden, you just find yourself chasing the game. And really miss Jerry Tawai in this tournament, or really missing Jerry Tawai in this tournament. Yeah, it is a shame that he is injured. I think he's out for London as well, isn't he? But hopefully he's back for the Commonwealth Games and also for the Sevens World Cup. That's going to be absolutely huge for these sides, that is for sure. And perhaps one of these two could win it all in South Africa. But now straight out in front of the post, that one's gone over. And now the score at halftime, it is going to be 19 points to 7 in favour of Fiji up against the French home side. They will be pretty happy with how they've been going there for the early stages of the match. But I think this tactic, it's very similar, and it's not really even that fancy of a tactic. It's literally hang on to the ball more than your opposition, and you will have success. It's something that Samoa used, and they are the only undefeated team in the competition up till this date. The other side, it is going to be one of the winners, or the winner of this one, even with Jerry out. These young Fijian boys can still deliver the goods. Exactly right. I think that's what's made it so impressive for Fiji and Samoa. The fact that these guys are just breeding the next level of talent. And even without their big major names, they are still able to absolutely deliver every day of the week. But currently, visits to the opposition 22, Fiji have had 4. They've also had 21 carries compared to that 4 of France. So like I mentioned, more hands on the ball, more success for the Fijian side. Now currently, line breaks, it is 4-0 in the game as well. So France have hardly had this ball, and that is why they certainly need to change it in the second half if they want any chance to be able to get themselves the win here. And it would be possibly Australia versus France is how it's linking up and hanging on to the ball, as in the Fijian DNA in 7 says Sami Souza exactly right. And the other side of it is it's holding on to that ball, but it's also knowing exactly when to offload it to a teammate. Like, they are just so perfect at getting 2 defenders lured in, and then you just little flick pass out to your teammate, and then he normally lures in 2 defenders as well, and then you find yourself up against like 3 men with 5 of the big Fijians, and it normally ends badly for the team trying to defend it. Currently now, looks like, I think, was he playing peekaboo with one of his friends there, that guy who was in his mid-20s? I think so, but I guess if you got to use up some time in the middle of games, you might as well play a bit of peekaboo. But now the France Sevens going to be back underway now, and it will be Fiji will be receiving this kickoff, unless, of course, France can retain it, although it's gone straight into the hands of now the big man, I believe. That looked like it was Muthanathangi. He did have that one as well. Now, nice run forward, and now going through, and this is going to be another try for Fiji. Nathunyo has been able to go in and score, and this is the perfect start to the second half for the Fijians. They are causing quite the impact here up against France, and the thing is, going into this match, France, you would have to argue, with the form that they had in the group stage, they would have been quite close in this game, but it seems to be more than likely going the way of the Fijians currently, because they are just doing nicely. Get in that position, for sure Fiji will win, or for sure win for Fiji, says Anake. I agree. Looks like they are going to be able to go and get themselves a victory here. And then from there, they will go on to face off against the USA at 7 a.m. New Zealand time, or somewhere around there. So it's going to be an early morning start for us, that is for sure. But it is at 7:03 a.m. New Zealand time. It's a good kick as well, and it's gone straight over for Fiji. They now lead 26 points to 7 in this matchup. I see a Nathunyo debut on the Gold Coast in 2014. Since then, has been able to bring up over 100 tries to his name, Nathunyo. And we'll be looking to possibly add another 100 to his name by the end of the next couple years. But at the moment, Balatha, I believe he is almost making his way out onto the field. It's just gone the 10, nicely taken there by Legal. Now Paula Suriva passes it across, trying to step around a little bit here. Now out to Jordan Sefo. And they are going to need 3 converted tries in 5.5 minutes here for France to be able to win this matchup. Now rush defense from the Fijians. Bounces out. It is going to be Tibok Mazzolini, I believe it is. He got back up to his feet, win again. In France, they just need more of the position and good coverage, mate. Tosaviti. And there's his prestige to appreciate you, mate. And also Mr. Don't Tire himself And as I said, Sammy, so a beautiful offload from France. This is looking good. Jordan Sefo now. It's going to be a foot race, but he's going to be cut off there, Jordan Sefo. Just the extra pace of the Fijians has been impressive. Now Legal does the wide cutout pass. They are just jogging this one. This is where you need that extra acceleration. Oh, and Legal wasn't expecting it. It wasn't knock on. No, sorry, it went backwards. So it is going to be all right. And now Legal once again passes it across. Kapila now rush defense. Riva shut down by two massive Fijian players. And it's a penalty to Fiji as well. And also go Fiji, go. The win is yours, says Griselda there. And that will mean that they will go through to the quarterfinal, which we are also covering on the channel. I should say it's going to be knocked down by France. They've said that it's gone backwards, play on. Currently France with the counter ruck. And they have been able to get this one back. Still 4 minutes 20 left on the clock. And he is going for the corner by the looks of it. Just doesn't have that acceleration. Legal does though. And he will be going in for the first try for France of the second half. I'll be very happy with that indeed. And also, howdy, y'all, says Katie Dixon. Welcome in. Hope you are doing well. Hope you are excited. Whoever wins this game faces the USA, Katie, as the USA were able to knock New Zealand right out of the quarterfinals, which is, of course, slightly unfortunate, but also good for you in that one. And it also, the thing is, I should be more disappointed, but I'm excited because it means that we might get to see like New Zealand versus Kenya, or South Africa versus Kenya, South Africa versus Wales. Not really. Well, South Africa, Scotland actually is a match I want to see. That one's gone over. Big love, Katie. Winner faces the Eagles in the quarterfinals. And also that message went wrong. And also, wait, USA beat New Zealand. Someone pinched me. Or no, they didn't beat us. But at that stage, they did have a better points differential than us because we got slaughtered by Australia. So because of the points differential, they were able to make their way through as they did beat the Australians. A nicely synced version there, as I said, Sebastian. See, we're on the same wavelength at the moment, even though we are thousands of miles apart. Still works. And also, Toso, is this still pool game, says Mr. Billy. This is the final pool game. So currently for the quarterfinals in the men's side of things, we have got Argentina versus Ireland, Samoa versus England, Australia versus the winner, Australia versus the loser of this game. And then it will be USA versus the winner of this France versus Fiji game as well. And also winner US and loser Australia. Is that how the quarterfinals are going? Or if that's how the quarterfinals and Wallabies defeated All Blacks as well, says Pratish, they did indeed. And it was the lone loss for the Kiwis. And it was that points differential that really cost them. And also not being able to put that dagger in the heart of Scotland to get enough of that points differential. So they'll be disappointed, but at the end of the day, sevens is sevens. You got to fire back. And apparently Rob Leota from the Rebels was good at sevens as a junior. And go Freedom Birds, says Katie Dixon, currently hanging on to this one for France. They've got 3 minutes left to try and get themselves 2 more converted tries. That was very flat. But they have said that it is going to be all right now. It is the big man. I think that was Simon. I see done. Oh, France, that was a ribcage rattler, and he looks like he's staying down for a bit longer than he would have liked to. Beautiful offload on the inside now, and this could be France again, going for the corner. Oh, the foot was in touch. It's a mistake, and he didn't find the pass option. He does give his teammate a pat on the back as well. He apologizes to Mazzolini, and also All Blacks and Blitzbox have just fallen off, as all fallen out, says Sebastian. And that's the other side of things. We might see that matchup, even though it's going to be playing off for 9th place. And I'm in support USA Eagles for the sevens. And can you play sevens for one nation and 15s for another? I think so. Maybe. I think it all depends on kind of like how long in between it is type thing, if that makes sense as well. Oh, it's a mistake from Fiji. And because of it, it should have... that is utterly terrible from France. They didn't... I don't know what happened. So pretty much the line out, they got it for France. Rather than taking on the easy 7 or easy 5 points and then having the kick to come, they decided to try and take it all the way to the corner. No, not the corner, sorry. I'm literally rattled from that. It's a try for Fiji, though. Mistake from France. They managed to get the turnover at the line-out time. They were 2 meters out, and rather than putting the ball down for the try, they decided they wanted to go between the posts, and then from there, then number 3, Jorge Simon, who also blew that last try opportunity, then managed to blow it. Also, we have got that one way to make Katie happy in there. As also, we have got there now that sloppy from both teams. It is. And just saw Fijiana wallop the South African women's. And there says Mr. Billy. But yeah, that's insane what just happened there, because it's gone from being 5 points on the board for France to being 7 points on the board for Fiji. So you'd have to say now Fiji have certainly got themselves the win, and clinical equals Fiji, says British. Exactly right. And now with 40 seconds left, the Fijians will be looking to maybe get themselves one more try. Of course, it's hot, 27 degrees, so they don't really want to waste too much of their energy. So the winner of this game, it is going to be now USA versus Fiji, as that game at about 7:03 a.m. And then at 6:05, it is going to be the matchup between Australia and France. There we go. We have changed that. And also we've got that's the final and the hardest nail in the coffin. As I said, Sebastian, and also at least the French mode Fiji, or made Fiji earn that win. And Sammy Souza, currently now only 8 seconds left in the game, taking the quick tap on the halfway line. It was Mazzolini. Now trying to find the offload. He's done just that. And now running down the wing, big Jordan Sefo hasn't been able to go over now for Fiji. They haven't been able to stop France there. In the corner, they score it, and it was Hayard who was able to get it. And also, how's the offloading in this game? Fiji have been clinical, as always. Perfect passes when it comes to that offload. And they are certainly going to be firing up for that next game up against the USA. But they need to make sure that they don't underestimate the USA. Because if they can get past USA, I believe they then make it to the semi-finals. And I think they verse... I'm just going to have a quick look, ladies and gentlemen, just to make sure I know exactly. But that has gone over. Nice kick from France. And that will be the end of the game. And the full-time score, it is going to be 19 points to France. Or sorry, 21 points to France and 33 to Fiji. And also, that's the final one, the hardest nail in the coffin. And also about the offloading. But now I will quickly go like this. And I will go like this. So semi-final 1 is going to be made up of quarterfinal 1 winner versus quarterfinal 2 winner. So we could see Fiji versus France again in the next leg. And also we may see the matchup between Samoa and Ireland again. And USA have beaten Fiji before, so Fiji won't underestimate them, says Sammy Souza. Exactly right. And also GG both teams, says Katie Dixon as well. But this means that game between the USA and Fiji, that will be a 7:05 or 7:03 a.m. kickoff. In other words, it's going to be an awkward one with the timing, but I believe we will be doing the sevens, ladies and gentlemen, for that one, and it will mean that I get a little bit of a break with the resting of the voice a bit of that time as well. And also, is Barry Baker playing? He is indeed, and he will be rearing to go for the matchup a little bit later on. They don't have Carlin Isle, so he is one of the speedsters that the USA are missing for this matchup. One moment, I'm just making sure I know exactly what the last game. Yep, so it is the USA as the last team, and that is at 7:03 a.m. that game will be taking place. But the first game of the quarterfinals for the men's, it is at 4:04 a.m., and that will be Argentina versus Ireland. Then there is Samoa versus England. That is a big game, and we will be covering that one on the channel as well, alongside a few of hopefully either the women's quarterfinals, or we might find a couple of the other ones that do squeeze in to that gap. As we know now that New Zealand might be playing a little bit earlier on. And what about Danny Barrett? Is he playing? I haven't seen too much of him yet. I've seen Joe Schroeder, but I don't think I've seen too much of Danny Barrett. So he might not actually be there, which is a bit of a shame, as he is a very impressive player and also the long-lost brother of the Barretts. Now, one moment. This is going to take a while to load. But once it does, we are good to go. Right, so South Africa will be playing Japan. New Zealand will be playing Wales. I see. Okay, so not really too many huge games coming up in the near future. But we'll see how we go in terms of when we can do our next live stream. We're definitely doing the quarterfinals, though. I will mention that, so be sure to stick around for those matchups. Well, thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Also, check out the QLED Sport. That is our second channel over there. And we have got plenty of videos going up on there. And let's see whether by the end of the day we can get towards that 900 subscribers. So thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I'll see you all for the next one.